Buzzfeed Unsolved Crimes that are now solved. Okay, I like mysteries. For all my gamers out there, I'm trying to get these streams going, man. I really am. Stay tuned for those. But without further ado, let's get it.
There are 5 cases from Buzzfeed Unsolved which have now either been fully or significantly solved.
Okay.
We're going to begin by looking at
treasure
Forrest
chest?
Fenn's treasure, which finally came to a full conclusion back in June 2020. Ryan and Shane investigated the mystery 2 years prior in September 2018.
Damn, 8
during
mil.
which they
That's
explained
BuzzFeed.
that world-renowned treasure collector
actually.
Forrest Fenn had hidden an actual treasure chest somewhere in the Rocky Mountains.
That's the
which
real
contained
one?
Over $1 million worth of valuable antiquities. In Forrest Fenn's memoir,
found
he wrote
that?
a 24-line poem which included 9 hidden clues on how to find the treasure, and while the concept seemed fairly simple, over 65,000 people had attempted to find the treasure to
couldn't get it.
fail.
Damn.
Ryan and Shane then explained that the treasure could be found in one of 4 specific US states.
The treasure is located in either Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, or New Mexico. Of the 4
In the
states
Midwest.
listed by Fenn,
Right by
tend to
me.
lean
Or was that the
towards New
Mideast? I don't know.
Mexico or Wyoming. Wyoming,
Okay.
because a majority of Yellowstone National Park resides within that state. And Yellowstone was a place where Fenn spent his formative years camping with his father.
And
Oh,
although
all right.
Wyoming seemed
That makes
like
sense
the most
then.
likely location for the treasure, the boys eventually settled on looking in New Mexico, flying to the state with over a month's worth of research under their belt.
Oh, so it was some YouTubers that found it.
Locations in New Mexico, put up with bad weather and rough terrain, and at one point even thought that they had found the treasure.
That right there. Look, there's a box.
They thought they found it, but didn't find it.
Is that a box or just a very square rock? That is a very, very square rock.
It's a square rock.
However, the
Oh
trip
my
ultimately
goodness.
ended with the boys leaving empty-handed.
Yeah.
They just have to come to terms with the fact.
Oh, I'd be so mad, bro. I'd be hurt.
The location of Forrest Fenn's treasure remained a mystery.
Okay.
It would be until approximately 2 years later, on the 6th of June 2020, when the following post was made to Forrest Fenn's personal blog. It was under a canopy of stars in the lush forested vegetation of the Rocky Mountains. And
Okay.
did not move from the spot where I hid it more than 10 years ago. I do not know the person who found it, but the poem in my book led him to the precise spot.
Okay.
I congratulate the thousands of people who participated in the search.
Yeah.
I hope they will continue to be drawn by the promise of other discoveries.
So I hope this Forrest Fenn dude was rich himself. He better have been, because you got $1 million worth of treasure that you know exactly where it is, but it probably got famous at that point. Everybody knew about it. So he's like, hey, I'm gonna just let it be there. He had to have money, because if he ain't had no money, I'm going back to get my own treasure. What the hell you talking about? Hey, but nah. That's crazy though. Whoever found it, they don't even know who the person is. That person never came out and said, hey, I'm the guy, which is smart, because people will try to come after you. Oh, you found a treasure? All right, bet he lived right. People, people on the internet, bro. You can't let them see nothing. They will figure out where you live quick. So that was a smart decision by that dude.
So the search is over. Look for more information and photos in the coming days. Forrest. As promised, this photo showed up on the blog in the days that followed, before these two were also posted, confirming that the treasure had in fact been found.
Okay.
1 month later, it was revealed that the treasure was found in Wyoming, which was one of the 2 states highlighted in the Buzzfeed Unsolved episode.
Okay.
Although not the state that the boys eventually went to.
Right,
6 months later,
Didn't
in
go
December
there.
2020, the person who had found the treasure finally revealed himself as 32-year-old medical student Jack Stu.
Okay, he did reveal
Coincidentally
himself.
used to be one of BuzzFeed's writers. Jack had found out about the case in 2018, the same year that Ryan and Shane investigated it, and stated that he thought about it for at least a couple hours a day every day since he learned about it, also adding that he planned on selling the treasure to pay off his student loans.
Right,
The treasure
right.
went up
Get
for
that money.
auction on the 13th of December 2022.
What do you get for it?
And after a whopping 1,643 bids, eventually sold for an impressive 1.3 million
1.3,
US
baby.
And while it took over 10 years for someone to eventually find the treasure, this is nothing when compared to the boy in the box, who was recently identified after 65 years of mystery.
The boy in the
Ryan and Shane
box.
covered the boy in the box back in August 2017 with a major
Yo, hold on. What's up with this trend that everybody does nowadays?
Ryan and Shane
Wait.
covered the boy in the box back in
Everyone does this now. They do like a little fake mannequin or cutout or something, and they just place it in the back so it looks like there's a person just standing back there just looking. I've seen so many people do this now, like 15 different YouTubers. I was gonna say 10, but it's more than that. I've seen a lot of YouTubers do it. What's up with that, bro? I don't like that. Even if it's be standing behind me, bro, just looking at me, I know you're fake, but listen, nah. That's, hey, get that.
in August 2017, with the major details being that in 1957, a box was found on the side of a road in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which contained the body of a boy between 4 and 6 years of age.
Oh, that's messed
The box
up.
had serial numbers on the outside, a blanket on the inside, and items of clothing scattered around it. However, despite having access to numerous pieces
Looks
of
like they
evidence, authorities
shipped
were
him
unable
somewhere
to
to live?
identify who the boy was.
He was dead,
For this
wasn't he?
reason, the boy was buried with a gravestone reading America's Unknown unknown child, which accompanied a sign on the street where the boy was found reading, "This unknown child became known as the boy in the box. He has never been identified. His case remains open. He is now called America's unknown child."
Okay.
His body had been exhumed on 2 separate occasions in 1998 and 2019.
Dang, that's a long time
DNA
apart.
through genealogy databases. The 1998 test was unsuccessful. However, by 2019, testing had become significantly more advanced.
Yeah, we had
while
more
the victim's
advanced
DNA
technology.
was so degraded that it took 2.5 years of work to be able to extract enough data to genealogy.
That makes sense though.
December 2022, the boy in the box was identified as Joseph Augustus Zarelli.
That was
His
just
DNA was
this
uploaded
past
to
month.
genetic databases, which led detectives to relatives on his mother's side.
Okay.
After pouring through birth records, they were also able to identify his father. They also learned that Zarelli's mother had 3 other children.
Okay.
Police refused to speculate on who killed Zarelli, though they noted, "We have our suspicions," meaning that while this
it was
identification
65 years
is
ago,
extremely
right?
fresh at the time of making this video, it's possible that the case could be fully solved sometime in the near future.
Okay.
However, if we're on the topic of fresh identifications, then we have to talk about the Lady of the Dunes.
Lady of the Dunes, all right.
Years of mystery was finally identified on the 31st of October 2022, just 38 days before the boy in the box.
Dang, okay, 2022 was the year of solving mysteries, I see. Hey, people was out here getting to work solving mysteries. They solved the boy in the box, not even to solve the Lady of the Dunes, whatever this is. So was she trapped in a dune? That would suck, bro. Oh man, let's go ahead and hit play and find out.
When Ryan and Shane looked into the Lady of the Dunes back in March 2020, they explained that she was found deceased on a beach in Provincetown, Massachusetts, yet because she'd been lying there for such a long period of time, the Lady of the Dunes had become unidentifiable.
Despite
She was there that long.
studying missing persons bulletins, scouring the registers of local lodgings, and looking into anyone who had a permit to bring their vehicle into the area, police turned up nothing.
The Lady of the Dunes also had extremely recognizable dental work. However, despite this and numerous different police sketches, nobody knew who she was. Similar to the boy in the box, the Lady of the Dunes was exhumed for DNA on 3 separate occasions in 1980, 2000, and 2013, although none of these resulted in her identification, leading the boys to state this.
For that to produce no kind of DNA evidence of like who this person is.
Yeah, none at all. Like, dang.
1974 is not that long ago.
No.
You would think that DNA would be fresh enough that you could figure out this person's identity.
What Ryan and Shane didn't know at the time was that within 2.5 years, the Lady of the Dunes' unknown son would undertake a DNA test with Ancestry.com, providing genealogy databases with enough evidence for the Lady of the Dunes to be identified.
Dang, is that accurate?
First, the FBI announced it finally identified the woman as Ruth Marie Terry, a native of Tennessee who was 37 at the time of her death.
Did they find out how she
At the time
died?
of her disappearance,
Probably
Ruth
not.
Marie Terry had mentioned to family that she was traveling to Massachusetts with her husband Guy Moldalvin, who's now become the main suspect in the case. Despite being married at the time, Guy never officially reported the disappearance of his wife to the police.
Yeah.
He remarried a year later as if nothing had ever
He
happened.
definitely did that
What's
then.
even
Come on,
crazier
bro.
is that Guy Moldalvin's previous wife had also gone missing and was eventually found dead alongside his daughter inside a septic tank on Guy's Seattle home.
This dude is out here getting married to women and then knocking them off. What you doing? Inside a septic tank. Oh, I'm glad they caught this dude. Get him out of
He
here.
served only 2 years in prison before being released.
2
which was followed
years?
by him marrying Ruth Marie Terry, who was then found in the dunes only 5 months later.
Oh,
Guy
man.
Moldalvin died in 2002.
He gone now.
However, if he is eventually found to be guilty, Ryan and Shane were correct in suggesting this,
It would seem that this was done by somebody who wasn't, I guess, like an amateur.
as well as this.
Unidentified victim would have known her murderer.
Yet we're incorrect in suggesting that the crime had been done by an Italian mob boss or schizophrenic prison inmate Haddon Clark. However, in the case of
hell?
Amelia Earhart, one of the theories put
Amelia
forward by
Earhart.
the boys eventually turned
Wait.
out to be true.
Oh, isn't Amelia Earhart that pilot that like went flying into the Bermuda Triangle, I think, and then just disappeared and nobody ever found her? I could be wrong on everything I'm saying right now. I could just be completely off. Y'all let me know. But we about to hit play anyway. But I'm saying, ain't that who she is? Huh? Let's find out. They solved this mystery?
Explained that Amelia Earhart was trying to become the first woman to fly around the world.
Around the world, not
the
the Bermuda
stretch
Triangle.
between Papua New Guinea and the Howland Islands in the South Pacific, Amelia Earhart, her navigator Frank Noonan, as well as their plane vanished and were never found.
Just disappeared.
again.
Yep.
The main theory put forward in the Unsolved episode was that Earhart's plane had run out of fuel and either crashed into the ocean or it successfully made a crash landing on the South Pacific island of Nkumaroro. Evidence for the successful crash landing was that 2 years after Earhart's disappearance, a British colonial officer by the name of Gerald Gallagher found a campfire, sextant, and a partial human skeleton on the previously uninhabited island. The bones were sent to a physician in Fiji who concluded that they most likely belonged to a male who was short, stocky, and of European descent, eliminating the possibility that the bones belonged to Earhart. However, Ryan went on to explain that at a later date, the bones had been run through an updated database, which suggested that they could have belonged to a tall woman of European descent, which fit the description of Earhart perfectly.
5758,
approximately a year after the Buzzfeed Unsolved episode was uploaded, an article popped up on NPR.org titled "New Research Claims Bones Found 80 Years Ago on Pacific Atoll Likely
Amelia Earhart's,"
which explained that the bones had been run through Modern Ancestry Program 4-disc, which found that Hoodless had incorrectly determined the sex of the remains. The data revealed that the bones have more similarity to Earhart than to 99% of individuals. Reference samples.
So it's pretty much hers.
It's a bit of a stretch to call the case of Amelia Earhart solved based on a couple of correctly sized bones. However, there's significantly better evidence for the
before we get to that. So yeah, bro. So I was wrong about the Bermuda Triangle thing, but she was trying to fly around the world. The airplane just disappeared. But what really happened is the plane crashed. She wound up on a deserted island and just died there. Damn, that's tough. I mean, people speculated that, of course, but you never really knew. So I guess we know now. I mean, they still say it's possible that something else could happen, and it might not be hers, but whatever. You know what I'm saying?
The person featured in BuzzFeed Unsolved's very first episode, the Somerton Man, who was finally identified in July 2022.
He looked like that, bro. His eyes all black. Stop looking at me.
Mystery. The Somerton Man
74
was found
years
dead on a beach in Adelaide, Australia back in 1948, dressed immaculately in a full suit with polished shoes. Strangely enough, all of the tags had been removed from his clothing, with his fingerprints failing to hint at who he might be.
And did they burn him?
Became even weirder when a torn piece of paper was found sewn into his pants, with the Persian phrase "tamam shud" written on it, which translated to "it has ended," with the case reaching even deeper levels of weird when someone brought in the book from which the paper had been torn, explaining that he found the book in the back of his car, which was parked near Somerton Beach. When the boys revisited the case in season 6, they talked extensively about the University of Adelaide professor Derek Abbott, who was seemingly the most determined as well as the closest to.
Why they block his face in the first one and show it right here?
Well, it will be only 2 years and 3 months after this BuzzFeed Unsolved episode that Derek Abbott would finally achieve a breakthrough using the Somerton Man's hair.
We looked for people with no date of death on that tree. And there was one that stood out.
Using the DNA of a distant cousin living in Melbourne, Derek Abbott was finally able to confirm that the Somerton Man went by the name of Charles Webb.
It was at this point we knew that Charles Webb was the Somerton Man. And we'd finally cracked it.
It's not the Somerton Man story now.
Oh, it was Carl. Okay, Charles.
The theories put forward in the BuzzFeed Unsolved episodes, such as the Somerton Man was a Russian spy or a ballet dancer, were disproven after Derek Abbott revealed that Charles Webb simply grew up working in a bakery while playing football on the weekends. However, the other tragic detail revealed in the episode of Australian Story was that prior to being found on the beach, the Somerton Man was living an incredibly lonely life.
He didn't have any friends. Not at all a happy person. Turns out that Charles loved to write poetry, and his favourite subject that he would write about was death. This story turns out that it's not some wild spy drama. It's really a sad, tragic, domestic situation.
Dang, bro. So this man, he wasn't even living good before he passed away. That's tough. But at least they solved the mystery. All right, hey. That's dope. This has been BuzzFeed Unsolved Cases that are now solved by that boy SunnyV2. He always come through with the interesting videos, man. Make sure y'all show a lot of love to this video. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit me up down in the comments. You know I get back at y'all. Stay tuned for a stream or a gameplay or something, whatever comes up next. And until next time, we up out of this thing. This your boy Dairu. We signing out. Hey.